everyone, welcome to the Christmas Fair. So today I'm so excited to share with you the reveal of our Christmas studio. I worked on this for about a month and a half, and it is a section in our basement that is partially finished that we were able to clean up and get to the state that I have it in now. So this series is going to be released in 2 parts. I'm posting them both on the same day so you can enjoy them back to back. And I would be happy to answer any questions that you guys have as far as products or how we did the cleanup or the process. The first video is a little bit longer and then the second video is a little bit shorter, but I do kind of walk you through all the steps and processes that I'm doing. But I am so excited to share it with you and I hope you guys enjoy.
Hey guys, so I'm coming to you today from our basement. We are trying to make this spare room that we have. We've been using it as a storage room. We are planning on making this a Christmas studio for some recording, just a space where I can have a little bit more room to spread out when making videos. So I wanted to take you along on this journey. I know this is not like a normal type of content that I film. Normally it's much more aesthetic, but I thought it would be fun to take you along on this transformation. And this video is going to be the room start to finish, so it's probably going to be a little bit longer. It's going to have some time lapse of me cleaning the room, putting the room together. It is a basement. It's partially finished. We're actually going to take off some of these wall panels that you see, just so we can keep the plain white exposed cinder blocks. This section is already pretty well painted. It's just going to need some deep scrubbing and cleaning. And then I believe on this side behind it, I took off one of the small panels. It's black, so that one's going to need to be painted. And then it does have a drywall ceiling already. A few spots we had work done, so those are going to be repaired by my husband down the road. And then we do have some staining. We did check, it's not actually water stains. We had an inspector come in and look, and we did have it looked at, but it's just some staining that we have to paint over. We think it's just from overtime. The house is pretty old, so I'm hoping that this is going to turn out well. My goal is to eventually move upstairs when my oldest moves out. She's a senior this coming year, so we're hoping that maybe if she decides to move out, I can transform one of the bedrooms. I would much prefer to be in a bedroom, but we've had a lot of increase in the activity that we're doing on social media, and I would really like to have a dedicated space to do live, not crowding up my living room or my dining room. So it'll be start to finish, but I will flip the camera around and I will show you what it looks like. So this is more storage right now. We keep a lot of our outdoor Christmas stuff here. And we got this really nice coffee table from my mother-in-law. It was a dark brown. You can kind of see it underneath there on the back side. But this is gonna be probably in the center of the room. We do have an air purifier going as well. Just ordered a new filter for that. And then we do have a drainage system in this room. So if it were to ever flood, we do have a sump pump that will help drain it out. And then we're gonna be scrubbing and deep cleaning the floors. And we're going to be putting, they're foam pads, but they actually look like hardwood. So it'll give it a nice finished look, but without having to pay for actual hardwood floors. And we have had 3 homes that we've owned, and we have had horrible luck with basements. So mostly with flooding, which is very fixable. It just tends to be a really big headache. So we're not planning on doing any kind of finishing in this room. Don't mind the litter boxes, but we're just gonna make it very simple, very clean and white, and then we're just gonna do some padding on the floor, literal foam pads. If they get water damage, they can just be thrown away. So trying not to spend a lot. I know the foam pads are maybe about $200 for a pack on Amazon. This video is not sponsored, but then our goal is just to put those pads down. That way, if it ever does flood, most of the items I'm gonna be keeping in here will be on shelves. So nothing will be like a cloth or carpet contact with the floor, and that's something that we've talked about. We've always wanted to finish a basement, but with our luck in the 3 homes we've owned in the Rochester area, we don't want to go down that road because we don't want to pour all that money into it and then have it be damaged if it floods. And we do live in an area where we do get a lot of rain and snow, which that's usually the culprit of the issues that we've had. But this room's 220 square feet roughly, and I'll kind of show you from the entrance of it. So when you're first coming into it, this is another part of our basement where, typical basement laundry and all that fun stuff. But when you first come down the stairs here, and then we come over here, this one is just the entryway. I probably will get something cute for the door right here. I'm just trying to overcome my fear of bugs. I
do not like bugs. I do not enjoy any kind of insect. I don't know why, I've always been like that, and I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around working in this room. But we had an exterminator come. I'm gonna be deep cleaning, like we're gonna be scrubbing the floors. I've got my vinegar ready. I've got a scrubber in the sink that we're just gonna be doing vinegar and hot water and just deep cleaning and scrubbing the floors. And then we're gonna go around with a shop vac and cleaning just everywhere we can. So I think that will help me feel better. And I think once we get these panels down, that will be more helpful, because I know that there's some stuff behind here that I don't really want to see, but I think that's going to help me just to be able to see the brick. And then I know that if there's something on it, I'll see it on the brick and it won't be hidden behind the panel. And then just some other stuff we have to go through, like, you know, storage type stuff that needs to be cleaned out and organized. And I'm sorry if this video is all over the place, just trying to get all my thoughts out and document it as I'm remembering. But there's an addition on our house over here. And this used to just be the end of the basement, but then they did do a small foundation. So these used to be windows to the outside. It's just a crawl space. There's nothing in there, nothing that I've seen. So what we're gonna plan to do is just put some little curtains up there. But if we ever need to get in there for, you know, it just has HVAC. So if we ever need to get in there, I don't wanna block off that space. So we're just gonna get a cute little curtain rod, make it look like windows. And then we do have an open window here, as well as 2 other ones in the basement for ventilation. And we're keeping the air purifier on 24/7. I brought my second one down here and I had 2 going. I mean, you can tell that I'm not a basement girl, but it'll be really nice to get this room fixed up, refinished. And then in a year or so, when I'm able to get into a bedroom, we're gonna just keep this room as like a rec room for our kids and stuff. So it'll be nice to have a little bit of extra space in the house if the kids want to come down here and hang out. But yeah, I thought I'd take you along on this journey, and I'm not really going to post any of this until this project is done. So it'll be like a start to finish type thing, because if something comes up and we can't do it, I don't want to put videos out there and then have it be like, oh my God, she never finished a project. So we will see how it goes. I'm going to try to take some paneling down today, and then my husband's going to deal with the electrical. I'm not touching that. But we're gonna try and get just some of the junk out of here, just some old stuff, and obviously move the kitty litter. But I thought it would be fun to show you. And it's just a regular basement floor. And it's just like little stick-on tiles. We're gonna be leaving those down. We're not messing with those, but we're gonna be deep scrubbing it, cleaning it, and then seeing how it turns out once we give it a deep clean. So I will keep taking you guys along as I complete it. All right, so we have entered the room now that the paneling is off. So this is what is behind the paneling. And it's just some glue that was stuck from the paneling that was there, and same thing on this side. So the goal here is gonna be to attempt to paint over that with some basement dry lock paint to match just the white over here. And then once the ceiling is repaired, we're gonna paint that white as well, so it'll just be all white. But this is what was behind. And there was just plain white paneling there. My reasoning for removing it was I'm gonna be down here quite a bit, and I don't really do bugs. I don't like bugs. I'm kind of nervous about being in a basement. I know it sounds like a really dumb thing to be afraid of, but we've never had good luck with basements at the houses we've lived at as far as like water damage and stuff like that. So I wanted any possibility of like hiding water or bugs to be seen. So if it's on the cinder blocks, you know, like on the white, you can kind of see the white here. I'm gonna be able to see if there's any kind of water damage coming down, or if there's any kind of bug issues or infestations. I didn't want anything hiding behind the panels, especially because I plan on spending a lot of time in here after we clean up the floors and put the temporary, it's kind of like a foam padding flooring down. And I just want to be able to basically see my surroundings and make sure nothing was like harboring behind those panels. It just doesn't look pretty because of the glue, but we're gonna paint over that. And I haven't really done anything else because we haven't been able to get to this room, but my husband was able to take this off and reattach it. It's just an electrical outlet that runs in here. But not too much progress, but we did get the rest of the paneling off. So that is, I guess, some progress. Not as much as I want, because I want it done like that, but I need to just be patient and do it one step at a time. But I wanted to just share that part with you, and I will be back soon with the next part.
It's going down on Christmas Day. 'Cause I've been trying to tell you in every way. Yeah, I've been trying to show you, but somehow felt I
Okay, so you saw the time lapse of me painting and cleaning. So it was probably an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. But I got that wall painted at least one coat. I probably will have to do another coat on there, but that looks much better than the brown. And now there's no paneling. So if there's like one in the corner there, a piece I have to have my husband get, and then one in this corner, but I don't want to damage the ceiling. Don't mind my face, I've had the mask on the last 2 hours. So I had my air purifier going, and I had the fan going the whole time, and my N95 mask. If you can't tell, I'm like paranoid that I'll get sick, but we got that painted, so that's done. And that's not gonna be the wall that I'll be filming on. I'll most likely be filming on this wall because it's got a little ledge where I can sit stuff, so that'll be nice. But it even smells different down here now. So what I used to clean it was vinegar, white distilled vinegar from the grocery store. These are like maybe $1.50 a piece. And then I used one of these full of hot water. So this is a 220 square foot room. And I just you saw me kind of shaking it along the floor. And then I added hot water with this. From what I understand, vinegar is a really good item to use for ensuring that you don't grow mold. So I didn't want to use soaps or anything because it has a drainage system around the outside, and we have a sump pump. So there's a small little rock ledge where if any water gets in, it just goes to the sump pump, which is really nice. So I scrubbed, and my husband said that I could just squeegee all of that into the corner. So I did that, scrubbed the floors. This used to be like where our cats would use the litter box and all that. So this floor was, I mean, obviously we clean it all the time, but it just got really grungy over time, and I just wanted to have a fresh, clean slate. So it smells better. It's still a basement. We're not doing any carpet, we're doing the foam tiles down here. But I think now that I've kind of given it a scrub, I'm gonna let it dry for a couple days. Hopefully we'll get the square foam pieces this weekend and we can start laying those. But at least it has, you can see that I vacuumed all around this morning. It got the painting done and then the floor. So these were like the two big things I was putting off, and I'm glad they're done because really it's just maybe dusting a little more, vacuuming around a little bit more, and getting the floor foam tiles in and then the furniture. So I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna leave the air purifier on and the fan on all day so that it can have a good time to dry. And we leave the air purifier on all the time, and it has like a safety shut off, so that's a plus. And then I'll get a couple little curtains for that, and I'll bring you guys along on the next part when I start putting the floors in. Look at this amazing piece of art. Look at this thing. So I found this at an estate sale, and they had a lot of furniture on sale for this sale. And it was originally $250, and I got them down to $185. So I guess this used to be a sled. This was like this family that was having the estate sale. It was their family sled from when the kids were younger. And the guy that was having the estate sale turned it into a coffee table, which is a great idea. And I think it's a gem. So it's gonna go in the studio space that we have planned, but I thought it was such a cool find. I normally never spend over that amount on something, but I feel like this is such a cool item. It'll be a conversation piece. We can use it for whatever we want. But yeah, I thought it was fun. I want to share it with you, and I will hopefully show you the rest of the stuff too that we got. Alright guys, so I am back in the basement today, and I'm in my housekeeping clothes and lounge clothes because I know I'm going to be on the floor a lot and getting kind of, sweaty. So today I'm going to start with these floor pads. I found these on Amazon. It's not sponsored, but this is the flooring I was talking about. So I think we found these for about $47 on Amazon, and I think it covers 48 square feet. We did check Home Depot, we checked Lowe's, then I also checked like some discount flooring places near here. Amazon had the best price. So we wanted to do flooring in here, but because it's a basement and because of our luck with 3 houses, we're not finishing this basement like ever. Even if we have the finances too and we really want another finished space, I'd rather just use these. But we do have a drainage system, I showed you guys that, but this is just gonna be interlocking floor pads. I'm very excited to use these because it's supposed to give it the look of wood floors, but if the water ever comes in here again, or we have flooding, or we have some type of issue. We had an issue with the sump pump where our, when we first moved into the house, it was clearly from the previous owners, the sewer from our toilets and our kitchen sink and our shower was connected to the sump pump. So we had waste in the sump pump, which is a big no-no. So that was another big reason that we will never ever finish a basement, because that was something my husband had to clean out and take care of. Obviously he was safe and wore all the proper, hazmat stuff, but it was just such a nightmare. It's since been taken care of, and the sump pump is working. We've blocked off everything else that was happening over there, but that was like a big thing that was terrifying me with this basement. And I think that's kind of why I was holding off using this space. But it's been about a week. The floor has completely dried, and I just wanted to give the room time to kind of air out after all that scrubbing and painting and everything kind of being torn apart. But I'm gonna get started with these, and I'm gonna do it on a time lapse so you guys can see it a little bit faster. But it's just the interlocking tiles. Never used these before. I will let you know how they go. I'm probably gonna do the whole room, and then I'll come talk to you after. That way I can just try to get as much done. I think I might have to trim some of these because of the square footage, but I'm really excited to use these. I'm gonna get started and you will see the finished result.
It's time to have a merry holiday. What a feeling, now it's time for Christmas. And Christmas is my favorite time of year. It's beginning to look like all my wishes are coming true. That's why I cheer. I've been busy decking the halls. I've been kind to big and small. And now it's time to have a merry holiday. What a feeling when it's time. What a feeling when it's time for Christmas. Let's sing a carol and we'll bring it here. Let's sing a carol and we'll bring it here. Let's sing a carol and we'll bring it.
Okay guys, this is how far I got today. So I'm going to show you just kind of around the room. So I did have to order one more box. We knew we were going to be a little bit short, but we weren't sure how the layout was going to be. If it was just going to be a really small section like this, we would have done something else with, but we're still missing a good amount of square footage over there. But I'll give you a regular view of the room too. I like the look of it. We obviously know it's foam and I'm okay with that, but it looks way nicer than the concrete slab. But this looks really good, I think. And there's a couple spots where I can go around and touch up, with my foot and just kind of press it down. I did have to trim a couple little corners there, which is fine. I do have extras of the edges, so if we need to ever reconfigure, we have a bunch of those. Okay, so the plan is next week when the rest comes, I only ordered one box because I know I'm going to be trimming them for along here. It's probably 18 inches or so.
And then I have 2 full pieces I'm gonna use here. So we'll probably use up most of the box. And I'm trying to use up some of these edges. So it's not perfect, but other than you guys seeing it right now, no one's gonna really see this part. So I kind of matched a couple of these that are the edges. I matched those together to give it a trim, but to also make it look like it's part of this. So if I'm doing like a broad shot of the room, you won't even be able to tell once it's all together. And these are pushed up a little bit more. But I think that was pretty good. It took me maybe an hour. I think total, if I were to give you a total for the whole room now that I had to order 1 more box, this is 220 square feet. It was about $250 for these pads because it's 48 square feet. So I could tell we're gonna have a little bit of overage, but it was 48 square foot per box. So we will have a couple tiles left over, which is fine in case if we ever have water damage, which with our luck, we probably will in the future. But for now, I mean, this is a lot cheaper than having hardwoods installed and finishing the floor and then possibly having floods in the future. Our area gets a lot of snow and a lot of rain, so that's usually what happens. But I figure if it ever needs to drain, it can drain. This is perfect for now. And then I just kind of moved some of the furniture around. This is not gonna be the final setup, but you can just kind of see placement of stuff. So it'll look nice when I'm able to do a live or, you know, just wanna feature something on a shelf. We're not gonna be showing this wall very much because it's just concrete and it's not as pleasant. But this is concrete, it's just painted a little bit better. And then it still has some of the better conditioned wall paneling up here. So you guys will probably be seeing more of this side once the floor is finished and I'm doing some, you know, videos and recording. I think this is gonna be my wall that I'm gonna do most of my videos on. I'm gonna dress up the top. I've got a lot of things I found at the thrift store. You guys have probably seen my thrifting video that I'm gonna be using for just artwork in the back. And I might even use like a cloth or blanket for the backdrop. So we'll see, but this is probably the nicer spot in the basement, or even this side's not too bad. But I will give you an update after next week. It takes about a week for these guys to come in from Amazon. So I will show you once it is completed. And then I think I'm gonna do this in a 2-part video. I'm gonna do like finishing like the housekeeping parts of it, like putting the floors together. And then the second part of the video will be like getting all the decor in the room. But other than that, I will see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so we made a couple more inches of progress in here. So for the furniture here, we just put the soft feet on the bottom, the little pads, these things here. And then we brought down the sled that we found at the garage sale. We also brought down the sled table that we talked about earlier. And my husband actually found this on the side of the road at one of our neighbors' houses. He gave it a really good inspection before we brought it home. It was an elderly neighbor that moved out of their home just down the street, and this was at the curb. So what we did, or what he did, was he took this out, cleaned it up, inspected the inside, made sure there was like no droppings of any kind. It was actually very clean, he said, and he spray painted this white. So the goal for this is, I'm really excited about this because it was free, which is even better. So the plan is to get the figurines for Rudolph, you know, the classic movie from the 60s, put a little backlight in there and decorate this up a little bit, and it will be like a live scene from the movie. And I'm thinking about looking for Frosty as well. So I think that would be a really cute addition to the room. I'm not sure where I'm gonna put it yet in the room, but it'll be a nice focal point for sure. All right, we are all done with the floors. So I'm gonna turn the camera around so you can see, and this is gonna conclude this video, and then part 2 is gonna be putting the room together. So I'm gonna try to release these in the same day so you can watch them back to back. But I hope you guys enjoyed tagging along with me as we were cleaning up this room, getting the floors in. And when we say floors, we're talking about the foam tiles, which were super inexpensive and super easy. I did them on my own, and I obviously have cut the ones along the wall. So total, the floor was about $250, but I will turn it around so you can see in a messy way what the room looks like completed.
All right, so this is the side that we were waiting on the extra tiles for. So when we had these ones come in, we had 2 spots we had to fill in over here. And then I've kind of made like a, puzzle type over here. I do have some extra trim, which I might fill in there if I can get it to fit. But this is that little alleyway that I showed you before that we were waiting on. I think it turned out pretty good. I mean, for being a foam tile floor and for it being such a big room, I mean, to me it makes the room look very different. It doesn't look so basementy now. And now that I have everything down here that's gonna be in this room, it'll be nice to have it all put together and have it not look so much like a basement. But I'm so excited to show you guys part 2. I hope you enjoyed the mess that was part 1 with the cleaning and the install of the floors. And I will see you guys in the next one. Merry Christmas.